Is the shutter speed fine today, Chris?
Yes.
I'm not going to look like it's been filmed with a Nokia 3310, is it, Chris? Useless sack of shit. Wagwan Farm, I'm King Ross, you're my lol subjects, and I am your WCPW commentator of the year and most popular What Culture on-screen personality. And it's that bastard time of the week once again where I take a look at all of the WTF moments from WWE SmackDown Live. Now this might be just because he's American, but I've got to start by bringing up the way Mauro Ranallo says iron. You know, that metal. You know, that match that lasts for half an hour, maybe an hour, you know. You know, that thing me mom uses to iron me t-shirts and whatnot when I go home. Iron. Anyway, Mauro calls it iron. That's a bit weird, isn't it? It's Otunga time, motherfuckers, and would you Adam and Eve it? Me sideways and call me Betty. He's almost wearing a suit. Normally, Dave turns up to a WWE SmackDown live show dressed like some sort of hipster Jedi prick. He just looks like a massive bell end. But yesterday he had some form of dark leather jacket on and a shirt and a little vest thing. All he was missing was a tie. He was almost there. David Otunga looking like a professional while at work. That means one thing, motherfuckers. The end is nigh. The end is nigh. Run away. The end is nigh. Next we move on to Dean Ambrose, who claims he is the first member of WWE SmackDown Live to announce himself in this year's Royal Rumble match. Yes, I know. Almost immediately after he corrected himself to say he's the first WWE SmackDown Live champion to announce himself in the Royal Rumble match. But I don't give a flying f***. If we were on a quiz show and we had to accept his first answer here was very, very wrong and therefore a WTF moment, and I'm going to leap all over it because I'm a sick guy. Merch. So his first answer there was incorrect. Of course, as we all know, last week, Baron Corbin was the first SmackDown Live superstar to announce himself in the Rumble match. I bet Baron's little sad tummy was looking even sadder with his crescent of a belly button almost becoming a circle instead of a whoo. Polka dot, polka dot, polka dot socks. Polka dot, polka dot, polka dot socks. A what creature, a what culture, mark a chalk, a channel, mark a chart, bah! A fan of what culture with an I'm a low subject sign in the front row. Oh, I've never seen those before, but there wasn't any at row this week, so that really is a WTF moment. That woman there, I don't know what her name is, but doesn't she say Kalisto in a lovely way? She claims she's going to ask Dolph Ziggler all the pertinent questions. However, she completely contradicts herself straight after she proves she's a hypocrite by asking a question that was completely impertinent, a question that we don't want to hear, a question that we already knew the answer to. She asked Dolph Ziggler, why, Dolph, why did you kick the shit Kalisto last week? As we all know, while Dolph was standing above the prone Kalisto, the charismaless vacuum of botchiness, Dolph was screaming, I don't need your help, bro. Why are you helping me, bro? I don't want your help, bro. But that woman there who says Kalisto in a lovely way missed that and asked the question that we already know. An alternative answer to the question that she asked there is because Kalisto and Apollo Crews, who Ziggler also attacked last week, are just charismaless vacuums of botchiness. Crews doesn't botch, but Kalisto does. But Apollo's got less charisma than Kalisto, who's got no charisma to begin with. It's John O'Clock, Oh my God, Chris! The first trip onto John's cock. The first trip onto John's clock this week sees John claiming that you don't need any friends in WWE because if you're the top guy with the championships, everybody's going to be reaching at you trying to knock you off your perch and that doggy dog blah 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 blah. Why is this a WTF moment, I hear you ask? Well, because John's want to talk. John is one of the most notorious big bully bastards that nobody likes ever. Aye, we've heard countless stories from numerous sources that claims JBL was just a massive prick back in the day, even though he had no no right to be because, you know, he was just in a tag team for a lot of his career and he was a cowboy with a big bull whip horn thing. Brawl for all, John, hey? Oh, I'm JBL. I can knock anybody out in a shoot fight. Vince Russo books Brawl for all. JBL gets laid out. That's how much nobody liked him because the whole locker room reportedly rejoiced when he was spent. So the point, JBL saying you don't need friends when he never had any friends apart from Ron. Oh, Ron! Wrestling friends? You wrestling friends? Friends who are wrestlers? Wrestling graps? Oh! Headlock! Oh! Collar and elbow! Aye, I'll bite your nose off, you big useless sack of Brawl for all. David Otunga called Kalisto an angry dragon. Here is what an angry dragon really means. Immediately after you blow your load in a girl's mouth, smack the back of her head and make it come out of her nose. When she gets up, she'll look like an angry dragon. Don't be mad at me, everybody. I'm just reading out what the internet says. Be mad at the internet for providing such information to people like this. Don't shoot the messenger, what I'm saying. Or just don't get angry at someone in a plastic crown and velveteen cape size on the internet and have a I've got to bring it up. Randy Orton was in a tag team match. Randy Orton went on the apron, not legal man in the ring. He should have been holding the tag rope. Randy Orton refused to hold that tag rope. WTF, even though Randy did refuse to hold that tag rope when he tagged himself in. Illegally, because he wasn't holding the tag rope, the referee counted the tag as a legal tag as if someone was holding the tag rope. Now this is funny, because Randy Orton has the nickname the Viper, not because he slithered through the ring and is a bit of a snake and all that malarkey. It's because he's constantly pulling his own pisser. He's a notorious masturbator. He's always pulling his pisser and blotting into his wank sock, holding his Viper, blah, 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 blah. Luke Harper, the first time he got up on the apron to distract the referee, Randy Orton put a thumb to the eyes and took advantage. That made sense. The second time, Harper got up on the apron for absolutely no bloody reason. Orton was in control of the situation. Orton swing Gable into Luke, and Luke fell down. Luke became pissed. They lost the match. Luke and Randy are butting heads. I don't know why Luke was up there. Apparently the youth of today, because they are an uncreative bunch who just sit there wanking all day into pizzas and playing video games with their virtual reality headsets, just say because reasons. And because I am down with the kids, I'm going to say that Luke Harper was up on that apron because reasons, because I can't think of anything else to say, because it's not really a funny moment. He was just up there when he shouldn't have been. A huge scoop on this week's WWE SmackDown Live as General Manager Daniel Bryan announced that there's going to be a steel cage match for the women's title between Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch next week. WTF, huge announcement. Women's wrestling. Did that come across as condescending? I didn't mean it. Just digging a hole, digging a hole. Anyway, steel cage is a downgrade in my eyes and in yours if you've got half a pissing brain than a Hell in a Cell match. The Raw women, they got to be in the cell. The SmackDown women, they just get the cage. The Raw women, the boo. The SmackDown women, the boo. The boo, the boo. So a Hell in a Cell from a steel cage, that's an escalation. That's making the stakes bigger because Hell in a Cell is the most dangerous match in history. Going from a cell to a cage, that's no, because a steel cage match isn't as dangerous as a Hell in a Cell is. It's got no f***ing roof! Me sideways and call me Betty. Wasn't CJ Lund f***ing terrible? I've got everything she f***ed up written down here, so I'm just going to read it out and put some little bit of pizzazz into me reading, a little bit of jazz hands and all that malarkey. So the first spot she f***ed up, she runs around like she's on a Carry On film. Who was she against? She was against Carmella. Carmella rolled out the ring. CJ followed her. Carmella got back into the ring. CJ did this. Well, if you can't. And then she rolled back in the ring. You know what that makes me want to do? I push my fingers into my eyes. Here's the second thing CJ Lund up. She can barely roll to the bastard ring. It looked like this sick guy here, and the massive humanity that I am, I've got more athleticism than her. She tried to hoist herself up, but she only got halfway, then had to roll into the ring like a common sea manatee. It wasn't a pretty sight. It's something that a wrestler should be able to do without thinking, but she could barely do it, and she looked awful doing so. And finally, the third and final thing, she f***ed up in this really short match, so it was an impressive achievement to f*** up three big things like she did, was Carmella's finisher, you know, that leg lock round the neck thing. I can't remember what it's called. Who cares either way? Carmella gets you like that, she feigns to go one way, then she brings you forward, but when CJ was feeling going that way, she just fell on her ass. Carmella had to contort her body to all sorts of angles to lock it in when she should have just fallen on her face like any normal person would. Do you not even watch wrestling, bro? Or sis, since you're a woman. Jimmy Ellsworth bringing out the breath spray, doing all this, because he's apparently been waiting 32 years to kiss a bird. A bird being a lady being Carmella. This is despite the fact that any wrestling fan worth his salt knows that James Ellsworth not only has kissed at least one lady, he has literally been inside one lady. Wow. Never mind first base or whatever kissing is, he's been all the way around to fourth base because he's impregnated a lady and had a child with that lady. He's been all the way ruined, and he's there going, "Oh, kissing me, I've been waiting 32 years. You f***ing haven't. SmackDown are blending the lines between reality and fantasy with some of their storylines. Dean and Renee, they're really dating. Miz and Maurice, they're really married. Blah, 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 blah. So when they go full kayfabe on something like this, expect people like me to be asking questions because geese and gander and them, I don't know what I'm doing. The mark, the dirty, unwashed mark that had a sign that read Cena Nation, despite the fact Cena has called his marks the C Nation, one word, flows well. Lovely, 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 since the dawn of time. But that mark there clearly isn't a real Cena mark because he didn't know the difference between Cena Nation, something that doesn't exist, and C Nation, something that does. It's John o'clock, motherfucker! Hello, John! Oh, you have a little cry? Have a little cry? Oh, me, everything's going pear-shaped. Here's a direct quote from John himself. Maggle, AJ, you faced Baron Corbin in that triple threat match with Dolph Ziggler. That's the first time he'd been in there. The first time that he'd had the WWE Championship. What do you think about Michael Cole using Vaseline on his nips and me sucking them dry? Blah, 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 blah. I'll read that last bit was made up. But the first part, he missed out the word match. He said Baron Corbin had his first WWE Championship when he meant to say WWE Championship match. Now then, just think about JBL sucking Vaseline off of Michael Cole's nipples, please. No doubt one of you out there is touching yourself over that, aren't you, you f***ing pathetic mess. In years gone by, we've seen John Cena pick up buildings. We've seen him with Edge and the Big Show on his shoulders. That's like 760 pounds worth of weight. Maybe 740. I don't know. It's a lot of weight anyway on his shoulders. But last night on WWE SmackDown Live, John hoisted up 275-pound Baron Corbin and fell flat on his arse. There's only one explanation for this. Baron's little belly button probably bit John on the shoulder, causing him to fall down in pain. And we end this week's show with a little bit of a whoopsie from Mauro Ranallo, who called a standard sidewalk slam a deep six. A sidewalk slam, you go, hum. A deep six, you go, hum. AJ Styles put him right though. That was nice of him. Why did Mauro call the wrong move? I suppose because we're down with the kids these days. Because reasons. And that's it for the WTF Moments from this week's WWE SmackDown Live. I've been King Ross, you've been a Dirty Mark, and I'll see you soon.